Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust or skeletons burning outside. I think we're good. Oh. Footsteps. I do not like the footsteps. Sorry, I'm listening. Hi, Wolfie. Are you alone? This is kind of a bad place to be, is it not? Hold on, let me, I don't like these footsteps I'm hearing. It might be the sheep. Maybe... Hold on. The skeletons are probably... There's a little cave down there. Most anticlimactic start to a Far Lands or Bust episode ever. Let's get things figured out here, and then we will do what we normally do. Update you guys on the Child's Play charity fundraiser. Where am I going? This place is unusual. Oh, that's dangerous. That's a, like, really bad idea. If there was a creeper up there, it would have just fallen right on my head. Alright. Okay. Hey, guys. I think that's a sheep. Alright, I'm going to break that. There's solid ground underneath that. Yep. I'm gonna break this and then run away. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go! What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Apparently we have just a paranoid Farlander. We have this kind of side door out of the hidey hole, but okay, there we go. Let's grab Wolfie. Let's get out of here once and for all, and let's not go east, let's go west. That's the way we wish to go in episode 222 of Far Lands or Bust. We are doing good. Let me actually get out of this foresty area. Sorry, I'm taking this kind of sideways way. There we go. Let's get out of this foresty area, continue on westward. And I know in the last episode I was moderately disappointed. Not really, you know, that's just the joke I had made. That we didn't raise any money for Child's Play charity between the two episodes, 220 and 221. It was about 2-3 days of time span. And you guys stepped up. I know when I can count on you guys for additional motivation and resurgence. And oh, hi guy. Renewing my faith in the Farlander community. Not that I ever lost the faith, but just the generosity overflowed, and we raised practically another $1,000. We were at $13,395. We were stuck there for a couple episodes, but now we're at $14,366. Raised for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. That's great. It's great news. It's totally overwhelming. And we had many, many little donations, a couple big ones, and like I always say, it doesn't matter. You know, if you have $5 versus, you know, 3 digits worth of a donation, it's all helpful, and it all goes to Child's Play charity, helping kids get books, toys, and games while they're in children's hospitals. They do that worldwide hospitals, so it's a great cause, and what we've been raising money for so many kilometers walking here in Far Lands or Busts. And it is well worth the journey, if I do say so myself, and do. So yeah, thank you everybody for continuing to contribute. And as another reminder, I keep getting people asking do you know that the ChipIn widget is closing? Yes, I realize, and I've talked about the fact that ChipIn is closing down this week. March 7th is when they're closing down. Coincidentally, March 6th is the 2-year anniversary of the first Minecraft video I uploaded to my channel, and the beginning, I guess you could say, of my Let's Play series and channel. Wolfie, there he is. He's just bringing up the rear. Excuse me? Yes. I said it. Deal with it. So, I think what's going to happen, I'm definitely going to have an episode of Far Lands or Bust on Wednesday the 6th to mark precisely the 2-year anniversary. And that is going to be the day I personally shut down the ChipIn widget. I'm going to record... I'm going to write down the amount that we have prior to recording that episode. I'm going to call that the official end of the ChipIn widget amount. And then we are going to carry that amount over to the new widget, which as of now is going to be through the guys who put together the I'm Raising widget. It's the same thing that the people, Mark and all the other people who put together Minecraft Marathon, they use that widget. Seemed to work out very well for them. They're still in open beta, I'm Raising. So there still might be issues, but they've told me that I can start my new widget with the number we end with on ChipIn, which is why I'm setting an absolute deadline. I just don't want to, you know, okay, and suddenly I'm going to close down the ChipIn. You know, I want to have an absolute deadline, so I will, before I record the next episode, which is due Wednesday, March 6th, I will take down the final number and actually stop the campaign through ChipIn, giving ourselves a day so that ChipIn just doesn't suddenly disappear and, like, say we don't get to see what the final number is. So it gives us some time to account for that, and we're going to be able to roll that over to the I'm Raising. There's probably going to be a few days where I'm going to play around with setting up the I'm Raising widget. They have a lot more customizable options. They have a way that we could list the most recent donations and the people's usernames or nicknames. I don't know if that's something I want to do. It's something we never did here in Farlands or Bust. I was never much for publicly displaying the donations. I'm very old-fashioned. I'm very... to me, you should want to donate because you want to donate, not because you want to get your name on a list, on a website. Oh, careful, Wolfie. I don't know why I walked closer to that, but not because you want your name on a list or because this or that or the other. Careful, Wolfie. This way, watch out for that guy. Cactus. Spit it out, Kurt. So I don't know if that's something I'm going to add. I know you can... I'll definitely be messing around with the HTML. You can customize the colors and the size and the progress bar and things. But anyway, we're going to transfer that number over to the new ChipIn widget. I'm also going to add on top of that the $5,025 that Justra and Pause on Pause raised during their Canadians for Kids, because they did that specifically to add to the Farlands or Bust amount for Child's Play charities. So we're going to do that. I'm also going to check... One of the problems with ChipIn is, you know, that from Minecon, I still have these two Farlands or Bust 3D glasses that I was handing out at Minecon, but I have two left over that when I got to meet Notch, I had him sign, and I'm going to auction those off. The reason I've been holding off on that is because if... Oh god, Wolfie, don't spawn on those blocks. Woo! Okay, he's over there. The reason I've been holding off on that is because... I could do, say, I was planning on doing it through eBay or something like that. We could auction them off, and then the money goes directly, without me ever touching the money, goes directly to Child's Play charity. There's no way to add that amount into the ChipIn widget through this I'm Raising widget, and I still need to confirm this and talk with the guys over there to really get my specifics down. But through the I'm Raising widget, I believe we're able to add, you know, little incidentals like that. While it might not be actual donations through the widgets, they're still part of the same fundraiser. So once we get the I'm Raising widget up and running, then we'll be able to think about putting these Minecon 2012 items of interest up for bidding, so you guys can bid for these special items. That's something that the Minecraft Marathon people did. I know I mentioned the badge that not Badge, you know, the guy with the mustache and the wheat farm, but Badge, the actual Minecon badge that we all signed, that auctioned off for $250. You know, that sort of stuff I'd like to get into more doing, because it does, you know, spur... whoa, careful. It does... Careful, Wolfie, careful, Wolfie. Okay, I guess he's just gonna spawn. Yeah, there he is, okay. I'm stuck. So that does kind of spur additional generosity and donations and things. So I'd like to get more into doing stuff like that. I know you guys are interested. It was, you know, up until now, it's been very... I never realized that people wanted autographs, or my autograph, or Notch's autograph, and stuff like that. So now that that's apparent to me, we're going to use that to our advantage to raise some money for Child's Play charity. So, all good things. All good things come to those who sleep at night. Like me. And a ChipIn widget, Nis, is endingness. And that's all rightness. So yeah, moral of the story, too long didn't read. If you want to get your last minute use out of the ChipIn widget, do so between now and Wednesday, because before I record the episode on Wednesday, I will be shutting the widget down. And I'm hoping, because I'm also planning, like I mentioned in the previous episode, the 6th is our 2-year anniversary. I'm planning on this weekend, the weekend of the 8th, 9th, and 10th, doing some live streaming. Not a big formal flob-athon type thing, but I'd like to have the new widget up and running by then. So there might be a little bit of lapse between Wednesday and, say, Saturday, where we don't have the ability to have a widget or donations through Far Lands or Bust to Child's Play charity. So bear with that, but I'd like to have the new widget and donation ability up by the weekend so that we can get like a little bit of a jump start. Then we'll have the first donations coming through the non-ChipIn widget, the what right now looking like it's going to be using the I'm raising widget. So woo! New things happening. Like I said, it's been 2 years since we started this channel, so it's always a good time to start refreshing and learning new things and making new connections. And oh, I couldn't hear. I heard footsteps, but I couldn't see them. They were hiding in the bushes. The chickens, that is. Not just seeing things, going crazy. So yeah, awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff indeed. Well, that was... Wow! Wolfie pushed me in. Thanks a lot, guy. So yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff indeed. Oh, I mentioned the SpaceX launch. I missed it because I accidentally slept in by 1 minute. I of course, would have needed to wake up earlier, but the launch was at 9:10 a.m. on Friday, March 1st, and I woke up at 9:11 a.m. So I missed the launch. So the launch of the SpaceX Dragon capsule, the third to the International Space Station, and the second official resupply contract, went up on Friday, and all went well with the launch. The first and second stages of the actual rocket is the Falcon 9 rocket. The Dragon is the capsule. Unfortunately, when the Dragon capsule separated from the second stage, its own thrusters, it has 4 thrusters that allow it to maneuver and adjust and get closer to the space station and stuff like that, failed to engage. And without the thrusters, the computer doesn't allow the solar panels to deploy. They have something like 18 hours of battery life, so they don't immediately need the solar panels. Unlike how we unfortunately found out in Kerbal Space Program, one of my robotic missions, I neglected to realize needed some solar panels, and then it became just a batteryless, listless, dead spacecraft out in orbit. But there was a little bit of a tense moment there, but they overcame it. They were able to do an override and get they had 1 of the 4 thrusters up, and then they got 2, and 2 was the requirement they needed in order to deploy the solar arrays, so they got the solar arrays out, and in subsequent orbits, it had to be delayed a little bit. The docking was going to happen something like 20 hours after the launch, which is pretty quick. But they had to delay it and let it orbit a few more times and then catch back up to the International Space Station. But they recently grappled and docked with the station. I believe that was yesterday, Sunday the 3rd. So, twice. The previous launch, there was an issue with one of the 9 engines of the first stage that shut down. It was still able to get up into orbit and deliver the cargo to the International Space Station. This one right here had a problem with the Dragon capsule. They were able to adjust, whoa, and you know, continue as business as usual. So that kind of shows how flexible the people over at SpaceX and their resupply ship is a pretty flexible and very robust system, and has a bunch of backups and redundancies. So good things for them. That's awesome news. You always get a little bit worried. There are still some skeptics, some critics of the commercial space flight. Most of them who are critics or skeptics are people who have vested interest in pre-existing non-commercial, you know, systems. They want the government contracts and this or that, or they want this, you know, they were on the Constellation program which got canceled or whatever. That's what you usually see, but hopefully this seems like it will at least hold some of those critics at bay, because hey, even when we do have a few slight issues, we're able to sit back and overcome them at ease, and it's something that's going to become a routine. Sending commercial spacecraft. All right, I should not have climbed this mountain. Dang it. How does this... The northern face. That doesn't look good at all. This kind of reminds me of our spawn village a little bit. Or village, spawn area. Snow, mountainy biome. Where we built our cabin. Of course, I planned it out a little bit better and had staircases and stuff, so... A little bit of backtracking here, but let's continue on. Wolfie, we need Wolfie to be safe. He's clumsy about those cliff faces. So yeah, so that happened. So space news. That's the space news sound effect. I don't know why. There were no lasers involved or anything like that. Whew, indeed. Whoa. This is unique. Oh, it's got some solid bedrock underneath it, so we're good. Not bedrock, I guess. Bedrock is an actual thing in the game. What are we, a little bit past half the episode on. I can start answering some questions. That seems to be something everybody enjoys doing. Our friend Vaughn, Just Vaughn, and on Twitter, and he does his own LP, and he was at Minecon. We met him at Minecon and hung out. Asked, what was your favorite cartoon from the 80s? You think I'm a little older than I actually am. You know, in 1990, I was only 8 years old. So, I don't have that many memories of any cartoons from the 80s. I kind of remember He-Man, or Masters of the Universe, or whatever it was called, and I had a few of the toys. I had the shark convertible car thing, and I had the He-Man that you hit his chest and it flips around and it becomes damage, battle damage He-Man. Those are all, I'm sure they're worth something now, but those are all gone, probably sold in garage sales or something by my parents. Nah, I don't remember. I'm particularly terrible with memory of my early childhood. Not a good memory at all. I think it's something that runs in our family. There have been discussions over Thanksgiving about, say, my dad or my uncles who, you know, other people will, you know, like my grandparents or my aunt or somebody will be telling stories of their childhood and stuff, but like none of the men in our family have that good. We're like, what? That happened? I didn't remember that at all, you know. So not too good of a memory. I remember I like Sesame Street. My favorite was Snuffleupagus. I remember at some point going to the one of those Sesame Street Live things that they do. You know, at some sort of theater, they have all the... Careful, Wolfie. I should have saw that coming, actually. Hey. Boop. Swimming pigs, kind of freezing in the water. Doing all right, guy? I guess he kind of answered. He said, "Bleh." But no, I don't remember that many cartoons. So yeah, I know it's all like nostalgic and stuff. A lot of people are with stuff from the 80s, the cartoons from the 80s and things like that, but ooh, intriguing. An underground lair. Almost like a ravine before they added ravines to the game. So yeah, thanks for that question. I'm sure you might have been hoping me to go on a far longer, more descriptive tangent, but like I said, first of all, I'm not that, I wasn't old enough to really have gotten into any of the cartoons of the 80s, and secondly, I don't have that great of a memory. Too many times my parents have dropped me on my head. No, I don't know. Anyway, let's go to sleep and we'll continue in the morning. And poor childhood memoriesness. That makes it sound like I was poor. I was not poor. That was a poor choice of words, is what that was. Poor. Oh, brother. Let's see here. From the YouTube comments, YN Dancer, sorry, or Wine Dancer. Have you ever tried cold drip coffee? Cold brew coffee? I have not. I've considered it. It seems like a very convenient thing. Basically, cold brew coffee is pretty much full immersion coffee like French press, except you do it like a lot at a time, and you do so like overnight in the fridge. So it becomes like super concentrated coffee, so that in the morning you just add hot water to it, which dilutes it because it's so strong to begin with, and then it's already there. You don't have to brew the stuff in the morning. You just add boiling water to whatever amount you want to make the strength of your coffee. I've thought of that. I've seen the devices and equipment, and that's the thing that's kind of stopped me from doing it, is because then I would have to get a whole nother set of equipment. But it does seem convenient, at least, to be able to brew a bunch beforehand, and then for like the whole week you have enough of this concentrated coffee that you can turn into coffee in the morning. But no, I have not ever tried that. I'm getting along well. We're having disagreements. I'm getting along well with the Hario pour-over brewer. It's working out just fine and dandy. I enjoy the coffee that makes. I've dialed in the grind and my pour time a little bit better, so I've been doing that the last couple weeks, so that's going well. But no, I haven't tried cold drip coffee, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a fan either of iced coffee. It's a different thing, obviously, but I'm not a fan of iced coffee. Just because, I mean, that just seems like something that you get at like a Starbucks or a coffee bar or something like that. And since I never buy my coffee that way, I never have a chance to like, ooh, I'll have a double soy frappa frozen chino pants. I'll have pants. Khakis and chinos. So yeah, that I couldn't see being into that. I'm very simple. I like my coffee black and hot, and with just a little bit of sugar, maybe. I guess that isn't considered black, I guess, anyway. So very simple with my coffee. Also, another question from the YouTube comments. TWJULL, maybe that's a J, Twull, asked, will you ever play a zombie game? Oh, I was going to say, Wolfie. Well, I am playing a zombie game. There's zombies in Minecraft. What are you talking about? It's the first game I started playing on that channel. 2 years ago. I don't know. To be honest, I've never got into the whole zombie craze, which doesn't seem like it's in any hurry of dying out. I'm not like against it or anything like that. I just never got into it. I'm not much into the horror genre. Out of the way, cow. I'm not in... Moo to you too, sir. Moo to you too. Not into the horror genre or blood and gore or anything like that. I know, like, The Walking Dead is really big right now. I don't have cable, so I can't watch it. Anyways, or any of the zombie or the paranormal movies or anything like that. I've never got into that. It just isn't my thing. I don't know how more to explain it. That would, you know, because of that, I'm not much into the zombie games. Like the Resident Evils or the... even Left 4 Dead. I tried Left 4 Dead when it first came out. I think I had to have been in college. No, that was after that. Yeah, that was after that. Good lord, I'm not that young. I tried Left 4 Dead when it first came out. I was kind of like, okay, you know, okay, whatever, zombies. Just not a fan of the genre. I don't know. I mean, I suppose it was Teleglitch a zombie game? I don't know, not really. Those are more monsters and stuff, I would consider them. You know, they're not really, there's no zombie lore or blood and guts and gore along with that, so... I don't know. Probably should look elsewhere if zombie games are the type of Let's Plays you like seeing, so... No, I'm not... I haven't ever been excited enough about any zombie games. Obviously, there's the Walking Dead games. I just don't think that type of game, the story-heavy, it's almost a point-and-click game, is not my type of game. I'm not a fan. Very much not a fan of... What was that one zombie game that came out that everybody was so excited about, then turned out to be totally crummy? Dead Island. Oh, that was pretty funny. Everybody was so excited about that, and then I started watching Let's Plays, and then people are like, can't believe I paid $50 for this crap. Oh, so yeah, not into that. So yeah, thanks for the question, but yeah, I'm not much one for the zombie genre. I suppose going on... Well, maybe I should save this for the 2-year episode. Yeah, I'll save that one for the 2... It's about YouTube and doing this full time. I'll save that for the 2-year episode this coming Wednesday. Bah, yeah. I heard all the sounds. Whoa, yeah, I did hear all the sounds. Spoiler? Don't go down there. Whoa, okay, let's go this way. Maybe that'll collapse. Hold on. Wolfie, have a seat. No, on the grass. I don't want you to go down there too. There we go. Yeah, you're probably safe. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, I don't think it is going to collapse because it's not... It's not suspended. Oh well. You, sir, have been suspended from class. Have I been walking the right way? Yes. Yes, I have. That's the story I'm going to stick with. We'll have to look at the footage, but yeah, I think I've been walking the right way. Oh, dear. Where's another question? I'll save that one. From Elise R. She asked, what is your favorite clothing item? I know I talk a lot about clothing. Not a lot, but I mention it. More zombies. I mentioned it a few times that I'm kind of... Ooh, this is clay, by the way. I'm using a texture pack for the longest time made by a Farlands or Busts fan, a Farlander, if you will, and the texture pack makes clay red. Which makes sense, you make red bricks out of it, why would it not be red? But Elise asked about what is your favorite clothing item in your closet, and do you wear it often, or do you save it for special occasions? I rarely have special occasions. I don't leave the house much. But I don't know, I don't really have a favorite clothing item. I really like I mentioned in the last episode, my Alden indie boots. Perhaps because of how much they cost, but also because they're something I've wanted for a long time and I was finally able to get them. I don't wear them a lot, though, because you don't really want to get them wet or too dirty, and they take a little bit of time to work into break in. I don't really own, for somebody who talks about dressing properly or more refined or traditionally, I don't own a suit. I mean, I own a suit, but I don't own a suit that fits me. That's something I should be getting soon, sometime this year or something like that. It's always a good idea just to have a suit, just in case. You never want to be caught last minute, like invited to a wedding or, God forbid, a funeral or something like that, that all of a sudden you're stuck without a suit. And, you know, like, I need a suit in 2 days. That's not the way to do it. Whenever you buy a suit, you need to, first of all, shop around, or else you're going to be paying a lot of money in panic. You also need to build in a few weeks for tailoring and getting things just right that way. So I'll need a suit. That's something I'll need. But yeah, I don't really have a favorite clothing item. I have a few pretty good sweaters that I wear a lot. I own quite a few. I stocked up on my Brooks Brothers extra slim fit Oxford not t-shirts, but button-down shirts. Those I pretty much wear every day, but it's not like I own like 5 of them. So I have them on a rotation. I have a couple good pairs of jeans that I like. Ooh. Trinkly. I don't know if I want to make my hidey hole near there. It'll make me want to go to the bathroom all the time. How about over here? I don't know why, but this one deserves a little bit of a platform. Have a seat, Wolfie. Boop. There we go. Oh, that was a poor choice of... Alright, yeah, let's do that. Okay, got it. Build the hidey hole. So yeah, can't say I have a favorite clothing item. I would think it's best not to restrict yourself to a favorite clothing item. Your entire wardrobe should be very useful and... Yeah, that makes sense, right? No, whatever. And interchangeable to get the most out of it, I guess. I don't know, but thanks for the question. This episode, I've had a bunch of questions that I've really not been able to answer because I don't have an answer for them. Sorry. Perhaps in the next episode, I've saved a few questions. One of them being about YouTube and doing it full-time and how that's going. Another one, as a little bit of a spoiler alert, somebody else asked about Wolfie. Question about Wolfie and how that might apply to my real life. Perhaps whether or not having or getting a wolf, not a wolf, that would be, I don't know that they allow wolves to be had in a domestic situation, but dogs or anything like that, pets. So we'll look forward to those questions. And yeah, like I said, get your final donations into Child's Play charity through the ChipIn widget before Wednesday, because that is when I'm going to take a final number that we're going to carry over to the new widget system that we're going to, and I will be shutting down the ChipIn widget, freezing that Wednesday morning-ish. Let's say that's probably going to be about, let's just go with Wednesday, the 6th. What? I looked at the clock and I saw the number 2, so I said 2nd. Wednesday, the 6th at, let's say noon GMT, which is 6 a.m. Central Time. It'll probably be later than that, but let's just aim for that. If you want to get your donations in through ChipIn, you can do that. There's not going to, I mean, ChipIn, whatever. You don't get anything special from doing ChipIn, but maybe for nostalgia's sake, you want to use ChipIn one last time before it shuts down. I don't know. But then we're going to be transferring over to the new one, hopefully up by the weekend for the live stream. I'll have more news about that probably on Wednesday's episode. I'll think of more of a schedule for the live streaming this weekend, celebrating 2 years on YouTube doing video game commentary. Indeed. Thank you very much for following along this long. Let's just say long. After 2 years, I've finally gone crazy. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for donating to Child's Play charity. I appreciate it. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time for a 2-year episode. Celebrating 2 years. The episode is going to last 2 years. Celebrating 2 years, indeed.